Hey everybody, thanks for watching. Today I wanted to take you through an oil change on a 2008 Toyota RAV4. That's this little silver car behind me. It's not terribly complex, but if you've never seen it done before, it's always nice to see someone else walk you through it before you try it on your own. Let's first talk about what you need before you start. Okay, you're going to need an oil filter. You'll need a TG4386. 4386, the TG is for Tough Guard, gives you 15,000 mile protection. 4386 is what this needs. And you need oil, 5W30. The important thing is it has to be full synthetic oil. You can get both of these at a big box store, of course. Tools, you'll want to get yourself a set of adjustable ratchets, and this will be to get the oil plug out, a socket set. You'll want a long funnel so you don't spill it all over the engine oil when you add it. And the really only specialty tool you need is an oil filter wrench. Now this thing is kind of a universal. It fits many sizes that can fit inside this metal band. They make these in large, small, medium. This is kind of the medium one. And this will just simply go on and torque it left or right. Righty-tighty, lefty-loose. These are $3 or $4, maybe $5. But they last forever. You also need some sort of oil reclamation system, and today I'm going to use for the first time this True Solve Products. This is a 12-quart oil drain container. You don't have to use one of these. You can use an oil pan and a milk jug and recycle it that way to the recycling center. You want a couple rags. I've got some paper towels there, and just for comfort I've got an old moving blanket that I'm going to lay underneath the car. Speaking of laying underneath the car, if you're a skinny little thing, which I used to be but I no longer am, I could lay under the car and get to it, but because I've aged and lived fairly well, I now need a set of ramps. So we have this set of ramps that we're going to park on, and this will give me the elevation that I need to get under there and work under things. So in a nutshell, ramps, wrench, oil pan, oil filter, and oil. Let's get to it. The ramps work nicely. Now you can see I've got about a foot of extra clearance down there to work on everything. So come on in here, pop the hood. Should be a latch just to the left side. Pull that, and that releases the latch. And then on the front, lift it up a little bit, and you got to feel around for another latch. Okay, here we are under the hood. You've got your oil cap right here. This actually says SAE 5W20 or 0W20. Now I'm using 5W30, and if you look within the actual owner's manual, it can take 5W20 or 5W30, but it should be full synthetic. So I've got full synthetic 5W30. You're going to open this to make sure it opens first, because you don't want to drain the oil unless you know you can add oil. Otherwise you'd be in a pickle because you couldn't add any more oil to get it somewhere to get serviced. So make sure this opens first. And then down here, this cleverly bright yellow thing that says engine oil. This is the dipstick. It's a finger handle. Put your finger in there, pull it out, and it's about a 2-foot piece of steel that goes all the way down to the bottom of your oil reservoir down there, and it'll tell you how you're doing for oil. So those are the two pieces of oilness components that you need to know on top. Underneath, it's pretty simple. Got our oil pan set up, and looking on the underside, you see this big black grooved piece of metal. There is a nut right there. That is your oil drain plug. We're going to release that, and it's at a nice angle that it'll pour right into that. We'll move this over, and then over here is that white thing. That is your old oil filter, and somebody cleverly wrote when they last changed it. That's always good to know. So we're going to first drain the oil, and then we're going to take this off. There we go. So just wants to break the grip there, and I'm going to get my hand out of the way because I know the water's going to, or the oil's going to come flying out in a second. Here we go. Okay, it's ready to pull out. I'm going to move my hand quick. There we go. And as you can see, that oil is actually fairly black. The capacity on the 2008 RAV4 is 4.5 quarts. It'll take a few minutes. You might have to reposition your catch pan as it goes from a full force flow kind of to straight down. And also, if you ever do this on a really windy day, you want to find a windbreak because the wind will move this around and could make a mess. Okay, we are down to just a thread of a stream of oil. So I've taken the oil plug and I've wiped it off, make sure it's nice and clean. And we're going to cap this because this will make our oil change 99.999% new oil. And I'm just going to cap this, try not to get messy again. There we go. Didn't do a good job with that at all. There we go. I'm not going to tighten this just yet because I'm going to wipe it down again. Okay, that's wiped it down. And then I'm going to tighten it up. There is a torque specification for this. I'll put it in the below the screen, but I'm going to snug this just to be snug tight. There we go. Not hard, not crazy hard. There we go. That's all we need to do for the oil. Now it's the oil filter turn. This is going to be a little bit harder to film, but you can see that white oil filter there. And I'm going to try to get, it's going to go righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, so counterclockwise to loosen it. I'm going to try to get this wrench up there over it and still have you see what needs to be seen. Okay, you may have to take my word for it. I'm going to have to move the camera so I can position my body to get up there. And it's just going to go counterclockwise. And fairly quickly, after about 1 or 2 rotations, oil will slip out the side, so you want to have your catch pan ready. All right, here's a picture of it. I loosened it. Now it's just hand loosening, so you can see it turns. I'm going to get the camera out of the way so I can get the drain pan under there. We're going to pull this off and set the whole thing in a drain pan. There it goes. And making oil everywhere, but it'll drip into the pan. I should have probably worn gloves, but it's hard for me to work the camera with gloves on, but this stuff will wash off. So we've got the oil filter out, and this will just drip a little bit. Not much because we pulled 99% of the oil already out. All right, here's the oil filter. This is the 4-cylinder RAV4. The 6-cylinder, I believe, takes a different number. Filter, different size. But the 4-cylinder from Fram is their 4386. This will set you back around $4. Not bad. What I'm going to do, though, really quick, is take a little bit of this clean oil and put it on the O-ring on top. That'll just help it come off a little bit easier next time and lubricates this a little bit for longevity. So just a little bit, just a thin coat. And the old one is completely off, and all the oil has come off of that, out of that oil filter threading area. So we're going to just thread this one back on. I like Frams because they have this non-slip or this grippy black piece in the end, which really works well for torquing it on. We're just going to hand tighten this on. So I'll try to do this with a tripod and show you it, but the view will probably be too tough to see. So you just thread this on, hand tighten it. You can use the oil wrench if you want, but since you do your own oil changes now, you can just snug it up and be happy with that. What are we seeing? You do see that up there. You see that circle? There's a little pipe fitting in the middle that we're going to put this new oil filter on. Once you get it on the right threads, it should just spin easily. And almost. There it is. Now I can see what I'm doing. We are almost done now. Back up top, we've got the cap off. I'm going to put a filter on there. We're going to put in 4.5 quarts of oil. One little neat thing, on most oil jugs nowadays, they have the actual quarts listed on the side. This is 5 quarts. We're going to use almost all of this. Okay, we've added our 4.5 quarts. I let that drain a little bit, the funnel. Last thing we need to do, second to last thing, pull out the oil dipstick. That's that yellow handled long piece. Let's see if I can see this. So at the end you see those 2 little holes. Focus on that. The bottom one should, when we put it back in, should have oil across it. Let's see if I can hold it still. There we go. And you want the oil level to be somewhere between those. So we clean it off, put it in, all the way, give it a second, pull it out, and you see the oil level is between those 2. So we have enough oil, and it's not black oil now, it is golden honey colored oil, clean oil. That's it. Make sure the dipstick is all the way back in. Make sure your oil cap is tight. And we'll back it off the ramps. Well, one last thing. While I still have it on the ramp, I am going to look underneath to make sure we don't have any drips. Looks good. Now we just back it up. Oil change complete. Okay, we are all done. Start to finish, if you have everything already from the store, probably 20 minutes of work. But it's nice to do your own oil change. It gives you familiarity with your car and a little bit of confidence. I hope this helps. Thanks for watching.